The chambers of the Galactic Council fell silent when Ambassador Chun stood from her seat. 27 species watched her with various expressions of curiosity, fear, and in some cases, open hostility. The holographic displays around the circular hall showed the text of Resolution 7749, commonly known as the Human Weapons Ban. Ambassador Chun cleared her throat. Her voice was calm, almost gentle, as she addressed the assembly. For 300 years, humanity has honored this agreement. We dismantled our nuclear arsenals. We sealed away our biological research. We stopped developing kinetic bombardment systems. We did this because you asked us to. Because you said it was the price of joining the galactic community. The Veltari representative, a tall being covered in blue scales, shifted uncomfortably in his seat. His species had been among the first to demand the ban after witnessing a human weapons demonstration 2 centuries ago. The memory of that day still haunted the collective consciousness of his people. Chen continued, her voice growing harder. Yesterday, the Cathari Imperial fleet entered human space. They destroyed the colony on New Mumbai. 47 million humans dead in less than 6 hours. They used plasma bombardment on civilian populations. They targeted hospitals, schools, and refugee shelters. A murmur ran through the assembly. The Cathari ambassador, a creature that resembled a massive insect with golden armor, stood up. His mandibles clicked rapidly as he spoke through his translator device. The humans were harboring enemies of the Empire. We had every right to pursue them. Your species should have surrendered to criminals when we demanded it. Chun smiled. It was not a pleasant expression. The criminals you speak of were 3 Cathari defectors who asked for asylum. They came to us because your empire was going to execute them for speaking against your emperor. We offered them protection because that is what civilized species do. The Cathari ambassador's compound eyes glittered with contempt. You are a young species. You do not understand how the galaxy works. The strong take what they want. The weak suffer what they must. Your weapons are gone. Your fleet is primitive. What exactly do you think you can do? The question hung in the air like a challenge. Every species in the room knew that humanity's military had been severely limited by the weapons ban. Their ships carried only defensive shields and basic pulse cannons. They had no weapons of mass destruction, no planet killers, no doomsday devices. The Cathari fleet numbered over 10,000 vessels, each one armed with enough firepower to crack a continent. Chun reached into her pocket and pulled out a small data chip. She inserted it into the console before her, and the holographic displays changed. Now they showed the Cathari fleet approaching Earth, humanity's homeworld. The timestamp indicated it was happening in real time. You asked what we can do, Chun said quietly. Let me show you. The fleet moved through space like a swarm of metal locusts. Admiral Crickstal stood on the bridge of his flagship, the Eternal Dominion, watching the blue and green world grow larger on his view screen. Earth was beautiful, he admitted to himself. It was a shame he would have to burn it. His tactical officer approached with a report. Admiral, we are detecting unusual energy signatures from the human homeworld. They appear to be activating something on their moon. Crickstal clicked his mandibles in amusement. Probably some last desperate defense system. It won't matter. Begin charging the primary weapons. I want to start with their largest city. Make an example of them. The weapon systems hummed to life across the fleet. 10,000 ships prepared to unleash devastation on a scale that would render Earth uninhabitable for millennia. Crickstal felt satisfaction spreading through his body. This was what the Cathari Empire did to those who defied them. Then the moon exploded. Not literally, of course, but that was what it looked like. The entire surface of Earth's moon lit up with brilliant light, and something emerged from hidden bunkers that had been buried beneath the lunar dust for 3 centuries. Thousands of platforms rose into space, each one bristling with weapons that the Cathari tactical computers could not identify. What is this? Crickstal demanded. Scan those platforms immediately. His tactical officer's voice trembled as he read the results. "Admiral, I am detecting nuclear missiles, antimatter warheads, kinetic bombardment systems, mass drivers capable of accelerating projectiles to near light speed. There are also weapons my computer cannot classify. The readings do not match anything in our database." Crichton felt something he had never experienced before. Fear. That is impossible. The humans disarmed. The council verified it. They have no weapons. A new voice crackled over the communication system. It was human, speaking in clear, precise tones. "This is Admiral Sarah Okonkwo of the United Earth Defense Command. You are correct that we disarmed our weapons. What we did not do was destroy them. We simply moved them somewhere you would not think to look. The platforms finished rising from the lunar surface. Crichton counted over 50,000 of them, each one a fortress of destruction. His fleet was outnumbered 5-1, and that was before considering the weapons themselves. For 300 years, we have been good galactic citizens," Okonkwo continued. "We followed your rules. We traded peacefully. We shared our culture and our knowledge. And all we asked in return was to be left alone. But you could not do that, could you? You saw a young species with limited defenses and decided we were easy prey. On the view screens across the Kethari fleet, lights began appearing near Earth's surface. More weapons platforms rising from the oceans, from underground bunkers, from orbital stations that had been disguised as civilian infrastructure. The humans had hidden their arsenal everywhere, waiting for the day when they would need it again. "You killed 47 million of our people," Okonkwo said. "Men, women, and children who had done nothing wrong. They were not soldiers. They were not combatants. They were simply living their lives when your ships arrived and burned them alive." Crichton found his voice. "If you attack us, the Empire will send more fleets. You cannot defeat us all." "Perhaps," Okonkwo agreed, "but we can certainly defeat you. And after we are done with your fleet, we will send a message to your empire. We will explain what happens to those who murder human civilians. And we will make sure they understand that we are not the peaceful, harmless species they believed us to be." The first missile launched. It was a simple nuclear device, primitive by galactic standards. But it struck the Kethari ship Glorious Conquest before the shields could fully activate, and the vessel disappeared in a ball of atomic fire. Then the rest of the arsenal opened fire. Back in the council chambers, the representatives watched in horrified silence as the Kethari fleet was systematically destroyed. Human weapons proved devastatingly effective against ships designed to fight other galactic species. The Kethari shields, which could withstand plasma bombardment for hours, crumbled under the kinetic impacts of mass driver rounds traveling at 60% of light speed. The nuclear missiles were terrible, but they were not the worst weapons in the human arsenal. The worst were the ones the Council had specifically demanded be destroyed. The biological weapons that could target specific genetic sequences. The nanoswarms that could disassemble matter at the molecular level. The gravity bombs that created artificial singularities. Chun watched the destruction with no expression on her face. "We did not use these weapons," she said softly. "We told you we would not. And for 300 years, we kept our word. But you must understand something about humanity. We do not forget. We do not forgive. And we always keep our promises." The Kethari flagship exploded. Admiral Crichton died instantly, along with his entire crew. In less than 4 hours, the greatest fleet the Kethari Empire had ever assembled was reduced to floating debris around Earth. Chun turned to face the council. "Now you know the truth. We never disarmed. We simply hid our weapons and hoped we would never need them again. We wanted peace. We wanted to be your friends. But friendship cannot exist without respect, and respect cannot exist without the ability to defend oneself." The Volturi representative was the first to speak. His voice quivered with barely concealed terror. "You lied to us. You violated the agreement." "No," Chun said firmly. The agreement required us to disarm our weapons. It did not require us to destroy them. Check the wording if you doubt me. Human lawyers are very precise about such things. Several representatives consulted their datapads. Their expressions shifted from anger to surprise to resignation. The human was correct. The resolution had demanded disarmament, not destruction. The weapons had been removed from active service, but they had never been eliminated. Chum continued, "We will not apologize for defending our people. We will not apologize for honoring our agreements while preparing for the day when others would not honor theirs." The Cathari Empire chose to murder innocent civilians. They have paid the price for that choice. A small, insect-like being from the Threx Collective raised a manipulator limb. What happens now? Will humanity begin conquering other species? Will you use these weapons to dominate the galaxy? Chun actually laughed at that question. Why would we want to do that? Humans do not desire empire. We want trade, exploration, cultural exchange, and peaceful coexistence. Our weapons will return to their hiding places. Our ships will go back to their normal patrols. And we will continue to be the same friendly, cooperative species we have always been. She paused, and her voice hardened. But if anyone else decides to attack our colonies, murder our citizens, or threaten our existence, they will learn what the Kithari learned today. Humanity does not start wars. We finish them. The council session ended without further discussion. Representatives hurried back to their ships, eager to report what they had witnessed to their governments. The news spread across the galaxy within days. Humanity was not the helpless young species everyone had believed. They were something far more dangerous. They were patient. In the years that followed, the Cathari Empire collapsed. The destruction of their primary fleet had destabilized their government, and the subject species they had conquered for millennia seized the opportunity to rebel. Within a decade, the empire was gone, replaced by a federation of newly independent worlds. Humanity helped rebuild what the Cathari had destroyed. They shared their technology, their medicine, and their knowledge with the former subject species. They asked for nothing in return except friendship and fair trade. The galaxy began to see humans differently, not as weak, but as strong. Not as naive, but as wise. Not as prey, but as protectors. Ambassador Chun retired 10 years after the battle. She was hailed as a hero by humanity and respected throughout the council. On her last day in office, a young aide asked her why humanity had chosen to hide their weapons rather than simply refuse to disarm. Chun smiled, her old eyes twinkling with something that might have been mischief. Because the most dangerous weapon is the one your enemy does not know you have. We wanted peace. We prepared for war. And when war came, we were ready. The aide nodded slowly. Do you think we will ever truly disarm? Destroy the weapons for real? Chun looked out her window at the stars. Somewhere out there, the weapons platforms still orbited, silent and waiting. Perhaps someday, she said, when the galaxy has learned that peace is more profitable than war. When every species treats every other species with dignity and respect. When no one needs weapons because no one would dream of using them. She turned back to the aide. Until that day comes, humanity will be ready. We will smile, trade, explore, and cooperate. But we will never forget what we are capable of. And neither will anyone else. The young aide left her office with much to think about. Outside, Earth turned slowly beneath the stars, peaceful and green and beautiful. And on the moon, hidden beneath the dust and rock, the weapons slept. They had no dreams, no desires, no purposes of their own. They simply waited, as they had waited for centuries, for the day when humanity would need them again. Hopefully, that day would never come. But if it did, humanity would be ready. They always were.